Hi, my name's Darren from professionaltilecourses.com. Over the years I've trained over 8,000 people how to tile professionally, and what we do now is we do a full train from home tiling course where everything you need to know how to change career is done in video format, step-by-step instruction of how to tile for a living. One of the biggest questions I've always had is which tile cutter shall I buy? And there's various tile cutters on the market from different brands. And when you're just starting out, it's a bit of a minefield of which one do you get. So I'm just going to quickly run through like sort of which tile machine might be right for you and just give you a general explanation of how tile cutters work. I'll do some demonstrations of tile cuts for you as well, explaining the different systems. So basically it boils down to you have only two types of tile cutter. One is called a twin rail, which is got two rails and a running like sort of bar that runs down the middle of them two rails. Generally has a scoring wheel or some kind of like sort of attached wheel at the end of that, just to give you the cut down the middle. The other kind of tile cutter you get is what I call a monorail or a single rail cutter. So like the Sigmas, Monolith, you tend to have this like sort of thick sort of steel bar running down the middle. You have a single handle with a fixed sort of wheel on the end. So as you principally score the tile along the cut, you can break it in one mechanism that way. That's basically it. That's your choice of like sort of two sort of types. Which one you prefer is entirely yourself. Personally, I prefer the twin rail just for visibility, but lots of people prefer the monorail, a bit more power in these. So I'll just give you a quick demonstration of the different cutters available. I've got written some suggestions that I would recommend you checking out from various companies, Ruby, Genesis, Sigma, Monolith. And I'll give you my recommendations of what I suggest you like go on YouTube and have a look at the videos that they do, and I'll put the prices down there. Generally, I would, if you're going to start a career in tiling, I would forget about buying some like a cheap tile cutter, maybe from a DIY store. It's not really going to like sort of have the power to get through today's tiles with porcelain strengths. So really, anything under £100 in a tile cutter, personally, I would give it a miss. You want to be going from the 100 to maybe the £300–400 mark for a tile cutter to get anything worthwhile having. So I'll show you a range of what's about. So the cheapest one I suggest is what I tend to do all my like sort of training on is it's called a Genesis 600 Super Pro cutter. I'll give you a close-up of the board just later on so you can have a sort of full list that you can check out. But the Genesis 600 Pro cutter, the 600 refers to the length. So when you say tile cutters and it'll say 72 or 75, that's generally the centimeters. So this is 600, which is classed as 600 millimeters or 60 centimeters. 72 would be 720 mil. So it just depends on how big a tile cutter you want. And this is a problem because you don't want to get a huge tile cutter like 1000 mil, 100 centimeters, because it's going to be like literally too big to do little kitchens and bathrooms and floors that you might have to do. But then again, you don't want a too small a tile cutter that won't do the bigger tiles, or you'll end up buying another one. So again, my suggestion when you're starting out is a tile cutter between 60 centimeters and 75 centimeters. For generally domestic situations, that range there will get you probably 90% of your tile sizes done on that, and then maybe you can venture into the bigger tile cutters as and when you need them. So this one here is a 60 centimeters. Again, it's a twin rail. This one has a separate scoring wheel, which you just buy, or comes with a tile cutter you buy. Generally, this is a 6mm wheel, so I'm just going to drop that 6mm wheel into there, twist it, so that locks that wheel into position. So if I do it from this angle here, if I pick up a tile, how this works, it has floating beds with a raised bar in the middle. So if I put that tile on there like that, What I'm going to do with the 6mm scoring wheel, I'm going to pull that bar back and we'll start from the bottom. Now what you don't want to do when you're cutting a tile is get what's called a fishtail. And what a fishtail is when you don't actually start off right at the beginning of the tile and you cut it in the end of the tile, so it runs off that last sort of 5-10 mil. So the best idea to avoid that is to just start off about 5-10 mil inside, pull the scoring wheel back and then start it from there. So sufficient pressure just to put a score down that actual like sort of cut. Push that forward. Generally with all tile cutters, you're going to get up in results by breaking them about 1 inch from the top. So whichever tile cutter you go into, it's about 1 inch from there. So what you want to do here is just give it a little tap, like that. Puts pressure into the breaking bar, splits the tile, sort of down the middle, pretty straightforward. So again, pull it back 1 inch, start again, up at the top, 1 inch on the top, flick it down, that's your cut. So pretty straightforward machine. This is going to do all these ceramics, most porcelains, unless it's really thick. But to do a porcelain cut, what you'd have to do here, you'd have to change that blade to a 10mm wheel. So again, this is a 6mm scoring wheel and this is a 10mm scoring wheel. So what you would do here, you put the 10mm blade in, like this. Get a porcelain tile. This is a bit of porcelain. So if I put that into there, what you have to do now is score the heavier pressure. So again, hard back, hard through. So again, a bit more pressure through the score there, inch from the top. And with the flick of the wrist, what I tend to do is start off on the top here, flick it down that way. So it's a flick. What that does sends a shockwave straight through the tile. So again, you've got to like change your techniques a little bit when you're using different materials. So again, porcelain, heavier score, faster snap through the break, and that's going to sort out them ones. Ceramic, 6mm wheel, score, push down on the top. So you've got all of the twin wheel cutters are going to be exactly the same as that, more or less. Ruby do some really good twin wheel cutters, and I'm going to go through some of the different Ruby sort of models, but as the Genesis one goes, £120 for this particular one. It's about the cheapest sort of professional tile cutter you're sort of going to get, and like I say, that's what I used to train with. This one here is called a Ruby TS. Now Ruby TS is still a twin rail system, has a slightly different breaker. Most twin rail systems have some kind of breaking bar that flaps around here. So this one here you push forward, or it might just flop down on a magnet that drops down. But they all have that kind of. Ruby TS, it's got slightly different breaker. It has a fixed sort of jackpot arm here. So again, you put a scoring wheel in. And then what you do is you score that, the same, then you pull that down, and then that would snap that there. What's actually happening with this one is there's a mechanism underneath there. So when this comes forward, these two bars go downwards, and then there's a pin that comes up from the bottom, which sort of comes up that way and breaks the tile sort of over that way. So it's a fixed position. Now this fixed position, it's again, it restricts you in how many cuts you can do. If you have a breaking bar, which is like this, it means you can break multiple times. So if I put this on here, I can take all of these so that once so I can cut all of them tiles pretty much with with one strike in one clip, because it's a bar that will like sort of move in various positions. So if you had a sheet of mosaics to do and you had like sort of say 20 mosaics on a strip, you could score every one of them and just break every one of them all the way down. Whereas this one, because you're restricted at the top, you'd have to take each piece out, put the next bit in, take the next one out. So again, it's personally, it's not one I would like sort of go with for that reason. And again, with the beauty of a breaking bar like this, if I want to do a diagonal cut across here, that means again I'm not restricted there. I can break this here in the middle, whereas had I had on this one, that's the score there. You can, I don't know if you can see that, but the breaker is not catching the bit where I've like sort of broke it. So again, the Ruby TS, great cutter on the straight, bit more restricted on multiple cuts because of the fixed breaker that way. So, but then again, Ruby do some great like sort of breakers like this, which again I've got them on here. So Ruby Tex Speed, the Magnet, the TX, the TRs. I'll show you these later on. So again, that is the Genesis 600, £120. Ruby, this particular one, about the £200 mark. Then it goes into Sigmas and Monoliths. Now, the Sigma and the Monolith range tends to be all really designed around this like sort of mono, like sort of bar here. Again, good, some people prefer it, others don't. The good thing about the twin wheel system is you have pure visibility of where that scoring wheel is. So, if I wanted to do a cut, so if I want to do a cut straight down that line there, is I put that in there, like that. What I can do is, I don't know if you can see from here, but you'd be breaking from this way. What you can do is you can see where that wheel would be aligned on there. So now I can hover that backwards and forwards there. I can see that if I score that down there now, and you broke it here, that's cut exactly on that. So very easy to align, like sort of by hovering the wheel before you do a cut first. Now when it goes into the Monolith and the Sigma, but the same thing again. And this is the cut that you want to do. So what you do is you put that onto there. So if you can see now from there, you're sort of losing a line because the bar's there. And when you're trying to put, like trying to align that over there, you're really like sort of losing where you are. So your visibility is a lot more restricted on this one. So you've got to sort of trust this like center line. So what you do is try and align it sort of there. I'm doing this as if I was doing it that way. So what you do here is then you would look down and then see if that wheel was running sort of down there. So from the camera angle there, you can probably see that the lines probably disappeared. You can't really see it where you can with the twin wheel. So again, you get used to it. I'm not putting you off it, I'm just showing you the difference between a monorail and the twin wheel visibility. So if I go back to cut this, so once I've got this aligned up, and that is on there, and that is on there, this particular model is like what's called a Sigma pull sort of cutter. So what you do, rather than push it forward like you normally do, what you do here is you would score it back, so from there, and then you're actually scoring it on the reverse, and then it's an inch from the top, take it down that way, and that's how you cut on that particular model. Now your Sigma does two versions of this. They do a pull to score, so I'll show you again on that. So this is the way you'd be, if I do it the way you're watching, so that's the way you'd have this particular cutter. You'd be obviously there, so what you'd be doing, you'd be starting off at the top, you'd be starting that inch from there, or a few mil from there, and then what you do is you'd be scoring backwards this way, and then you'd be putting it there, and then breaking it that way. So that's the way you'd actually work on that. But again, you can get like the push version of this, where the bar would be up here, this would be turned around the other way, and you'd be like sort of pushing it like a normal traditional tile cutter. So you've got 6 and 2/3, which way you prefer to do it. But anyway, that's the monorail sort of tile cutter. And then you have what's called a Monolith brand, which is pretty much a similar version of the Sigma. I think all of them, I might be wrong, but I think all the Monoliths are push sort of cutters rather than the option of pull and push, which is the Sigma models. But it's pretty much the same. So if you can imagine like sort of the push version, this handle would be turned round, and then what I'd be doing is I'd be like sort of just pushing it down that way and then breaking it. So from your way, it would be that handle would be round that way, and then the tile would be sort of down here up there, and you'd be pushing it that way and then flicking it down at the top. But hopefully you're getting that idea behind like sort of a twin rail and a monorail, which one might be better for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to like sort of have a closer look at this board here. It's just going to give you like sort of some suggestions of tile cutters that you can maybe go down to the tile shop and have a look at. I've got all the different price ranges from 120 to like maybe £330, so you can like sort of decide what's in your price range. Have a look at some of the YouTube videos just by typing some of these in. All these like sort of companies have got demonstrations on their cutters, so hopefully it'll give you a bit of an idea. But we'll just have a closer looking version of this. So just going to have a look at, like I said, some of the tile cutters that I recommend you check out. So again, the first one is the Genesis 60 centimeters or 600mm Super Pro tile cutter. You'll find that online about £120. If you're going to get this one, it comes with a couple of 6 and 10mm blades, but I suggest you buy actually Ruby scoring wheels. It's called a Ruby TS 6mm and 10mm scoring wheels, and you replace the wheels with that, with the Ruby ones. It's a much sharper, better cut. So that's your best sort of value at £120 if you want to start getting into tiling and you want a sort of semi-decent professional tile cutter. The next one is a Ruby brand. So again, it's called the Speed Magnet. It's a 62 centimeter. So again, check out Ruby's version of that and the different online retailers that do this one. 62 centimeters. It's going to do most tiles in a domestic situation. Jumps up £100 to about £220, something like that. Then you've got the Ruby TR magnet. This is like a similar one to this one. This one here is pretty close to like how the green one worked when I showed you the Genesis one. It's got the bouncy beds on springs, so it's just an upgrade on that one. I think that one's just like a solid bed, so definitely the sprung loaded beds are better. So again, this one jumps up 10 centimeters again, so 71 centimeters, a bit longer than these two. Again, price goes up again though, £309. This one here, in my eyes, is pretty much Ruby's like sort of one of the best ones that they do. It's called a Ruby Tex Max. Really high breaking powers to get through like sort of most ceramic porcelains. 71 centimeters long. Again, so if you've got a few quid to spend, £350, it's pretty much a real good one from Ruby, that one. Obviously all these tile cutters here go up in size as well. You can get these in like sort of 900s and 1.2 meters. They'll go like sort of like really big, but don't go crazy on sizes to start with. Just stick to these kind of like sizes to get yourself out there. Going to the Sigma ones. Remember the Sigma is like sort of the blue one, like sort of like this one, which is the monorails that I mentioned. So again, like I said, you've got like sort of a push version and a pull version. So you've got your Sigma, 72 centimeters. It's called a 3C3. That is the push version, which is your traditional type of like stroke and a tile cutter, 320 pounds. And then you've got the 3C2, which is the same tile cutter, but that's the pull version. That's the one I just had there and showed you how you score it backwards and you break it sort of from the bottom. So my personal choice would be the push version. I'm not affiliated with any of these companies, you know, I don't, you know, I'm just giving you an independent view of what I think is good for my students to get into. So so push version, my preference on the monorail. The pull version, you might like it, I'm not sure. The Monolith P3, it's a 75 centimeter long. That's pretty much the equivalent to the 3C3 on the Sigma. Roughly about the same price, but 295, 300 pounds against 320. Pretty much both similar mechanics on the machine. Single bar, score it, you flip the bar over, you push it down, and it breaks the tile that way. So again, hopefully this like sort of video is just being a little bit of an insight. Like I say, I get the online course we're doing now. It's got 45 video lessons of how to tile and change career from every aspect of doing a lot more in depth on every cut and how to physically do every aspect of the tiling game to change career. You can look at www.professional-tiling-courses.com and have a look to see the actual video course we do and change your career from that way. But like I say, a lot of people when they're looking at tools are asking us which tile cutters. So I thought I'd just do a little like sort of YouTube video here just to give you a bit of an idea on which tile cutter does what. So it's not a total in-depth on any particular brand, it's just giving you a general itemization of how tile cutters work and which ones to get. So I hope you found this of some benefit. Check out the website and any questions, just send them through. Thanks a lot. Bye.